So we're here in Boat Harbour. It's just north of Cronulla and south of Sydney. It's a really fantastic spot for looking at shorebirds. What I'm hoping that we'll be able to see today are the two different kinds of oyster catcher that we get here, the sooty oyster catcher and also the pied oyster catcher. I'm also hoping that we might be able to see the red-necked stints before they migrate away. So it's the end of March, beginning of April now, and they're just about to leave for Siberia, but let's see if we can see them here today. And finally, I'm hoping that we might be able to see double-banded plovers. Now, these are unusual birds in the sense that they migrate here to Australia for the winter, and they're coming here from New Zealand. So join me today and let's see what we can find. Boat Harbour is a haven for shorebirds. It's a rocky outcrop. 175 species have been recorded here. It really is a lovely spot. The birds seem to do quite well on the rocks, although there is some disturbance from the cars that are allowed onto the beach and also from dogs. So I'm just here in Boat Harbour. It's just to the north of Cronulla. It's on the Cronulla Bay, and I'm photographing terns. We've got a large group of great crested terns, but we've also got in amongst them a few Caspian terns which are larger and have those orange beaks. I just sat here on the edge of the water, and as the tide has come in, it's meant that the terns have had to move from an island that they were on out there towards me. I'm going to stay here for a few more minutes and then I'll crawl out and leave them quietly. So while I was on the rocks, there's all sorts of herons around me. Here's a reef egret. And then also I saw this one, which is a white-faced heron, just catching this crab. He really enjoyed it for his breakfast. All the times I was on the rocks, I was looking for the red-necked stints. And when I looked over my shoulder, I could see they were actually on the shore. And there's a small flock there just feeding in amongst the gulls. I got down nice and low, but had terrible trouble trying to keep them in focus. They move really fast, so this video has been slowed to 3/4 speed. Well, this is exciting. I've just seen a couple of ruddy turnstones, and I think there's another one over there. Let me see if I can get some pictures. Yeah, they are ruddy turnstones. Now, turnstones are also migratory, and they should be leaving our shores fairly soon. It's the beginning of April, end of March. But interestingly, the eBird record shows that they can be found here throughout the year, so presumably some individuals are staying here. So I was hoping to see the sooty oyster catchers, and there are some right on the edge of the rocks, just where the waves are breaking. Yeah, there's actually quite a few of them. They're just sitting there preening. And actually in amongst them, there's a couple of pied oyster catchers. Yeah, really, really beautiful birds. They used to be common when I was growing up in Britain, but actually here in Australia, they're not so common, but they're really lovely. I'll see if I can get some pictures with my video. Well, I'm down here at the water's edge. The tide is coming in quite quickly, but I'm just where the water is meeting the rocks. There are quite a few of those redneck stints feeding all amongst the rocks here. And also, today I've seen 4 ruddy turnstones. But just while I was looking at them, I spotted one double-banded plover. I think I got a picture of it, so we can confirm it later. But that would be exciting, and as I said, they're plovers that are coming in from New Zealand. They're actually migrating to Australia for our winter. I'll stay here a little bit longer, but the tide is coming in quite quickly, so I don't want to get cut off, so I will have to leave. That's super exciting. I wasn't expecting to see one of these. A specific golden plover. You can only see one individual, and maybe there's only one that lives here. But I was just standing over there just talking to the camera, and then he came up and flew behind me. I didn't recognize the sound, and then when I looked I could see that it was a completely different bird. So he's just over there. He's very wary of me. He's looking at me, but let me see if I can get some good pictures. Yeah, he's just standing there. The day after I did most of the filming, I went back again, and this time there were lots of golden plovers around. Here's a small group of them. Again, they were pretty wary of me. But as well as these ones with the mottled plumage, I could also see some that were changing into breeding plumage. So these two here, I think, are females with that mottled black front, but also in amongst them there were a few males which have that solid black front. They're really lovely birds, and of course they're just about to leave and breed in the Northern Hemisphere. As I came off the rocks, I saw this bunch of 3 silver gulls just standing on the rocks preening. And it was interesting that there were lots of channels being formed by the incoming tide, and that was attracting birds too. So the channels were obviously bringing in food. And here there's a pair of pelicans moving in on the channel, and this one at the back caught something. You can see him go for it there. I don't know what it was, but he dragged it along under the water and then he flipped it up and ate it. My guess is it may be a crab like the heron had. And there it goes. Can't see it, but something nice for breakfast. Well, that was a really exciting time here at Boat Harbour. I come here over 3 days, and the weather has been different on every day. Today it's lovely and sunny. We did see the double-ring plovers that I was hoping to see, or at least I saw one, and of course they're migrating here from New Zealand, so it's good to see them at this time of year. But also I was surprised to see so many redneck stints. I expected them to have gone, and it was particularly good to see them in there just as they're turning to their breeding plumage. So thanks very much for joining me. Think about subscribing and liking the content, and join me again for the next time.